Now, if you're within 5 years of retirement, one purchase you make today could either make retirement dramatically easier or quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 25 to 30 years. Now, here's the surprising part: it's usually not the purchase itself that creates any problem, it's when you buy it, how you pay for it, and whether it fits into your retirement income plan. Now, I've seen people retire with several $1 million and immediately create unnecessary stress because of one poorly timed decision. On the other hand, I've also seen people make large purchases before retirement that actually improve their financial flexibility and give them far more confidence once their paycheck stopped. So today, I'd like to walk you through and share three major purchases that often make sense before retirement and three that deserve a lot more caution than most people realize. Because retirement isn't about avoiding spending, it's about spending intentionally. And one of the biggest misconceptions about retirement is that once you stop working, all the big financial decisions are behind you completely. But in reality, some of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make happen during these first 5 years before retirement and 5 years after. And this is the transition period where your tax situation changes, your borrowing power changes, your healthcare could change, and unfortunately, your paycheck will change and likely disappear. So that's why we tell clients not to think about purchases by asking, can I afford this? Instead, you maybe should ask, how does this affect my overall retirement plan? And those can be two completely different questions. It's exactly what I'd like to walk you through today. Purchase number one: paying off your high interest debt. So let's start with one purchase that almost always improves retirement: buying your freedom by getting rid of expensive debt. So this would be things like credit cards, personal loans, high interest car loans, or any other sort of loan that carries a higher interest rate. High single digits, low double digits, something like that. So these are creating required payments that are very high, with an extra level of interest that's very, very high that you have to overcome. And so, for instance, you could have thousands of dollars, even $10,000 a year that no longer has to come from your investment portfolio or more if you pay these debts off. So remember, every dollar of spending you eliminate reduces your retirement income gap. And if your income gap is one of the most important numbers in retirement planning because it's the amount your investments need to produce or allow you to withdraw, then that smaller the gap is, the easier it is for your portfolio to support your long-term retirement. So this is exactly why we start every retirement plan with a personal balance sheet and income statement before making recommendations. So purchase to avoid number one: buying your dream house immediately. Now here's one that can surprise people: buying your forever dream home right before retirement. And notice I didn't say never buy it, just don't rush into it. Many people assume retirement automatically means upgrading, downsizing, moving to the beach, or buying the lake house that they've always wanted. But here's what often happens: they retire, buy the expensive home, spend hundreds, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars on renovations, furnish the entire house, then realize 6 months later they underestimated all sorts of other things in retirement. Maybe it's healthcare costs, maybe it's your travel that you wanted to do, it could be the impact of inflation, it could just be simply that you wanted to have more liquidity, cash, and flexibility on hand. And so what can happen is you become house rich but cash poor. So the better approach may be, let's go ahead and retire first. Let's live retirement for 6 to 12 months. Let's understand how we're going to spend our time in retirement. Then make the housing decision based on reality instead of just imagination. By the way, this is exactly why our planning process isn't just ask how much money you have, but we want to connect all the dots of your retirement plan, your goals, your tax plan, your income plan, your investments, your health care, your estate planning and legacy goals all into one integrated strategy. Because every major purchase affects multiple parts of your financial life. All right, purchase number two: home improvements that help you age in place are a very good idea. Now here's a purchase that often pays dividends for decades to come: updating your current home before retirement. So maybe not luxury renovations, but very practical improvements. This could be something as simple as the roof, the AC, or it could be improving accessibility. So maybe that's replacing your aging appliances, giving yourself better lighting, making your bathroom safer, installing floors that's easier to maintain. Why before retirement? Because it's much easier to coordinate contractors while you're still employed and having to think about the outflows of the cost. It can allow for that mental burden to be less. Perhaps more importantly, every year that you delay, major maintenance could increase the chances of dealing with these unexpected repairs during retirement, which will also give you more of this mental burden. Because think about this unexpected, perhaps $40,000 repair that in retirement, even though you do have cash potentially to pay for that in your investment accounts, it tends to be a little bit less burdensome when you're still working and have a cash flow that's coming in. So planning ahead could reduce some of these surprises and some of these headaches. So purchase to avoid number 2. Let's now look at financing expensive toys. And these will be things like perhaps RVs, boats, maybe luxury vehicles that you may or may not need, a motorhome like an RV, or even a vacation property. Now, none of these are just automatically bad purchases in themselves, but buying them on financing could also be something right before retirement that creates unnecessary financial pressure. So remember, your retirement paycheck is now coming from your portfolio, and that is now what is going to be that ongoing cash flow or income. Now, every monthly loan payment increases the amount that you need to withdraw from your investments. That higher withdrawal rate requires your portfolio to do more each year and provide more. And these things compound year after year while you have these liabilities. So instead, if these purchases truly fit your retirement vision, then maybe ask a different question. Could I just go ahead and comfortably pay cash without hurting my retirement plan with this purchase? And sometimes that would be yes, and that's great. If it's no, then maybe just make sure you weigh the cost and understand everything from a complete, integrated, comprehensive standpoint, not in isolation. And also at times it could be, let's just delay doing this for a year or two so we create decades potentially of more financial flexibility. Now, purchase number 3, professional retirement planning could be beneficial. Now, this may sound self-serving because I obviously am a financial planner, but hear me out. Many people spend more researching a $50,000 vehicle than they do planning their retirement for the next 30 years. So retirement today isn't simply about investing. It's about understanding how to connect all the dots between Social Security, your retirement income, your investments, your overall withdrawal strategy, your estate and legacy goals. And so while this could sound a little self-serving from a financial planner, I think it's important to understand all these various items and how they all coordinate together, and doing that on the front end before retirement, as there's very little opportunity for a mulligan in retirement. So purchase to avoid number 3. These could be large gifts that may jeopardize your own retirement. And one of the hardest conversations we can have with generous parents at times is that they want to help children do very expensive things, perhaps help buying a home, paying off student loans, funding business ideas, doing extreme levels of gifting to the grandchildren. Now, these are all wonderful goals, and they certainly have an appropriate place in overall plans. But we want to emphasize and not allow these to jeopardize your own retirement security. Remember, you can always give more later, and giving some now certainly makes a lot of sense. But it's much harder to ask your children for financial help because you gave away too much too early. So one concept that we discuss with clients is understanding whether they truly have a lot of excess assets available after fully funding their own retirement. Now, if that is true, then they can confidently decide how much to dedicate towards family experiences, family legacy, and other charitable giving goals. So generosity works best when it's built on confidence, not uncertainty. And notice something about all 6 of these that we've discussed so far. None of these are universally good, and none of these are universally bad. In all of these choices and these purchases, the context matters. The right purchase for one retiree could be really wrong for another, and that's why I rarely answer questions like, should you pay off your mortgage before retirement? Should you buy a vacation home? Should you buy the RV? Instead, it's appropriate to ask, how does this impact your overall retirement plan, your income gap, your guaranteed income? How does it change your tax situation? And then starting with, what are your overall retirement and legacy goals? Because purchases don't exist in isolation, they exist inside a comprehensive, thorough, integrated retirement plan. And here's what I'd like to encourage you to do before making any major purchases in the next 5 years leading up to retirement or the 5 years there right after retirement. Ask yourself these 5 questions. Will this increase or decrease my retirement income gap? Will it improve my quality of life for years or just create excitement for a few months? Will it increase ongoing monthly expenses that put too much pressure on my long term plan? Could this purchase create unexpected tax consequences? And does this purchase fit into my overall long term retirement plan? Now, if you can confidently answer all those questions in the affirmative that it does make sense, then it's far more likely that these decisions improve your retirement without just creating more stress. And at Cornerstone Wealth Planning, this is exactly what we help client families navigate every day. They don't just look at investments, so we want to help connect all these moving parts, looking at retirement income, Social Security strategy, tax planning, healthcare investments, and estate. Putting all these into one coordinated plan so you can retire with confidence instead of uncertainty. So if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement and you'd like a second opinion on your plan before making any major financial decisions, I invite you to click the link below to schedule a conversation with our team. Sometimes one decision made before retirement can improve every year that follows. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to watch our next video where we'll show you how one of the biggest retirement plan mistakes we see people make before the retirement receive their first retirement paycheck. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.